Proud of you for never drinking underage. Son, underage drinking is never the right ingredient.
And we know drinking underage isn't good for your brain. Oh.
I won't drink underage. Thanks, Mothership.
No underage drinking, right?
And that's why no underage drinking is our goal.
area. This is kind of that West Ogden area. So those are just some of the newer stores. And then to show how this helps the department is we just opened our new East Sandy store, as you know. Believe it or not, on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, it led all stores for sales. So we were excited that it is meeting demand and help some of those surrounding stores that usually are pretty high demand. That would be the other Sandy store and the Cottonwood Heights store. Those typically for many years have been the highest sales stores in the department, but they were able to have some relief basically from the demand that's placed on them based on that new addition. So we were very happy on that. And then I just wanted to point out that how grateful I am and our department is for the hardworking employees on these days. These are very long days and there's lots going on. Increased demand also means increased load sizes and being able to accommodate all those individuals who might be coming. So we're extremely grateful for our warehouse and stores, our supply chain, merchandising, all those who get into the supply chain. We're just grateful for their efforts. And then we also had some admin employees who went out in the stores working, throwing freight, and we're just grateful for the support of the commission and all those who are around. So thank you for that. Finally, I wanted to just also talk to you a little bit about something that's exciting for us that happens every year. I know might not be as exciting as that, but the annual report. This is something we look forward to every year. Since the conception in 1935, the department has always put out an annual report. And we're really excited about this annual report. It kind of shows where the money goes, how it all interacts, and how it helps all Utahns. And so we're very excited that the DABS sends about $236 million to state and local programs in the fiscal year of 2023. You'll be able to see this on our website. Posted later today. But again, this is just showing the good work that, of course, Doug and his program does, Parents Empowered, but it also shows how the department gives back and details out our financials. Any other questions that might come up like that is just a great way for us to report out on that. So I'd like to thank all those who worked on that and made all their efforts there possible. So we really appreciate that. And with that, that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Cade from the commission? I did want to say that I was one of those shoppers in the stores, not the day before Thanksgiving, but I went the weekend before, and I went to the Third West Wine Store, and they were so knowledgeable and helpful and took time for me just to say, what's a good wine that goes with turkey? But, you know, how about this? But have you thought about this? Do you want to try something different? You know, what's your price point? And it just goes to show the level of customer service that our stores have and the knowledge that they have is just so impressive. And the Third West store, by the way, that I think we announced this at the last meeting, what won the Governor's Employee of the Month award, and we're so proud of the work that they're able to do there. And Cade, thank you so much for all of your work. And it really shows in the annual report that I read last night, just it's shining through in the level of efficiency that the department is able to deliver. And that's thanks to your leadership and your executive team. And thank you.
Thank you.
It's appreciated. Makes our jobs as commissioners much easier. Okay, now we're going to move on to violations, and I'll go to Sam to lead us out. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioner. We have on the consent calendar today, items 1 through 25. They are all complete, have settlement agreements in place, and are ready for commission action.
Okay, is there any discussion? And to start us off, I'd like to go to Commissioner Tennert, who's chair of our compliance subcommittee, to see if we're ready for a motion or any discussion on items 1 through 25, the consent calendar.
Sure, I'd be happy to make a motion, and this is based on the subcommittee's recommendation. So the compliance subcommittee reviewed these. I understand the operations subcommittee reviewed them as well. And the recommendation is to approve items 1 through 25. And so I'll go ahead and make that motion for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice Chair Randall. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great, thank you. The next item we have is an item for consideration that was a holdover from the last meeting. So if the management from Kabuki is here, would you mind coming up to the table, not the podium? Would you please state your names for the record?
My name is Young Zhao.
Mine is Rachel Talbert.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. So we understand that you were able to come back and work with staff to further refine your plans for responsible alcohol service. So before we go to you, I'll go back to staff and see if there's anything you wanted to say about the consideration before the commission today.
Commissioner, I'll start here if anybody else has anything to add. But my understanding is their RASP that they presented was very good. Aaron Hinkle reviewed it and didn't have any problems with it. They had some intensive training at the store. Everything went well. And one other thing, they have decided to purchase a scanner, which was one of the commissioner's recommendations last time. So I think all of our concerns have been addressed.
That's great. Are there any questions from the commission?
Have you been using the scanner?
Of course.
Is that it? Okay. Is there anything more you'd like to say? And then we'll go to a vote.
I think everything's been said. We've been new RASP, so training wise and everything, we'll start with that.
Great.
As far as do you have anything else to add, Rachel?
No, I mean, we've just mostly like bumped up what we're doing with training, and I'm keeping a closer eye on the servers as well. And just checking in and making sure that they are looking for visual cues for underage drinkers or anyone who's intoxicated, as well as scanning IDs as well, like in addition to that. So like.
Great.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you taking this seriously. We understand that you are taking it seriously, and we've had the recommendation from staff to approve the settlement agreement at this time. So I'd be looking for a motion at this point.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Is there a second? Second. Thank you, Commissioner Orton. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We hope to not see you back here. Unless you're opening a new restaurant and then, okay. Moving on to item 8, we'd like to recognize those licensees who have passed our Cub inspection program, and I'll pass it over to Jeremy for that.
Well, thank you, commissioners. I first want to say I had the opportunity this week to be part of a violation training here in this room. It was facilitated by our very own Rob Hansen and our partners at SBI. It was interesting to see the number of individuals from the licensees that showed up, and they're interested to know how they can improve, which is nice to see. So I do hope to see them on this list in the future, but we've got 55 here on this list from all across northern Utah, from Vernal to Orem to Ogden and places in between. Sort of a great thing to see after we've gone through the violations list. We see those who are compliant. So thank you. Thank you to the licensees who take, alcohol service seriously and want to partner with DABS to be participants in public safety.
Thank you. I like to see that list and the breadth of licensees and the geographical span. It's impressive. Thank you, Jeremy. Moving on to our consent agenda, I'll go to Erica for presentation there.
Thanks, Chair Tui. Just a quick reminder before we get into the consent agenda, There are a few types of permits and licenses that have a renewal deadline of today. So I'll just highlight what those are: special use permits, certificates of approvals, manufacturing licensees, local industry representative licensees, liquor warehousing licensees, and beer wholesaling licensees. So if any of you are listening, please get your renewal in today. On to our consent agenda. There's one change I want to highlight. We will be removing in item item G, the change of ownership for Courtyard Salt Lake City downtown. So that will not be part of the consent agenda. They've asked to be heard in December. From there, you will see approval of the minutes and then different types of applications: off-premise beer retailers, hospitality amenities, special use permits, limited service restaurants, taverns, on-premise banquet and restaurant beer. You won't see full service restaurants or bars as per usual, given the historical license scarcity with those two types of licenses. One item I want to highlight for the commission is in item E, restaurant limited service number 10, New York Pizza Patrol. You'll see on the agenda that there is a violation history. I'll just summarize what that is. It was a sale to a minor. It was adjudicated in April of this year. They formerly had a license, didn't renew, and now they are on the agenda for a new license. And want to highlight that given the historical practice of looking at violations within a certain period of time. With that, I think it's important to note that you've all had a chance to review the applications, review the materials that go along with them, ask staff questions, and I'd be looking for a motion. I think the chair would, actually, not me. Looking for a motion and to move on the consent agenda.
Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Actually, I'd like to pull number 10 on item E.
Okay, so let's, maybe Commissioner Jacobson, would you make the motion to approve the agenda and taking specific consideration of item E, sub 10 for New York Pizza Patrol off of the motion?
Yes, I would move to approve the consent agenda except for item E10 and to pull item E10 for further discussion.
Would you also mind specifying that we have stricken item G?
Yes, and that we've stricken G1.
G1, thank you. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, so let's go back to the limited service restaurant application for New York Pizza Patrol. Could we have the representative come up to the front? We understand. Oh, could you please state your name for the record?
Ricardo.
Ricardo. And what's your last name?
Janotti.
Okay, Vicky, do we need a spelling there?
Oh.
Oh, you'll sign in. That's okay. Thank you. Okay, so we understand that you had a violation for a sale to a minor earlier this year. Would you mind explaining to the commission what plan you've put into place so that you don't have another violation?
Since we had the problem, we are working so hard to prevent that to happen again, and we wrote some instructions to our employees. I have the copy if you wanna.
I see that you're showing me the responsible alcohol service plan.
We have the same in our process.
Okay.
We are working with that, with the people every day and to prevent it to happen again.
Okay. Are there questions from the commission? Yes.
Just a question for staff. So it sounds like there's an updated RASP. It's been revised a bit. Has staff reviewed it and do they feel like it's sufficient? Greg, yeah.
Yeah, yes, we have, and this is the rest, but it was also generated as part of the violation process. And it was reviewed again with the new application, and it's pretty comprehensive and efficient.
Okay, thank you.
I would go, I'd like to make a motion to approve the application for a limited service restaurant license for New York Pizza Patrol and Draper.
Is there a second? Thank you, Commissioner Orton. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, and thank you for being here. And thank you for your responsible alcohol service. Thank you. Moving on to item 10. These are license application considerations for, we will first talk about bars. So for that item, Rob, we would like to know if you have any update for us on the change of ownerships presented here.
Good morning, Commissioners. So we have a whopping 9 bar changes of ownership. They are all complete. They meet statutory requirements. None are conditional.
Okay, thank you for that. We had some conversations about this in our subcommittees this month, and the recommendation that came out was that we approve items 1 through 8 and hold back 9 for a future commission meeting due to the violation that we previously approved for Club Carumba. The commission would like to see that violation penalty carried out before we consider the change of ownership. So I'd be looking for a motion to approve items 1 through 8.
I would move to approve items 1 through 8 under paragraph 10A.
Okay.
And to continue item number 9 to the December meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacobson. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. You're in my line of sight. It's just easy if you second everything. Thank you, Commissioner Orton. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, great. We'll move on to those bar establishments that are considered ready to operate. And I will go to Commissioner Tenert for those recommendations.
Sure, thank you, Chair Tui. The subcommittee has reviewed these with the staff. This compliance subcommittee has reviewed these applications with the staff, and I understand that the operations subcommittee has reviewed them as well. The recommendation of the compliance subcommittee is to approve those licenses that are ready to operate at this time. And so I'll go ahead and just make the motion. I'll have a point during discussion, but I will move that this commission approve the license for Zion Brew Pub Beer Garden in Springdale. That will be conditional. Kimmy's Chop and Oyster House, the Wired Walrus in Salt Lake City, and Etta Place Cidery in Torrey.
Is there a second? And is there some discussion to this?
Chair, I just want to just make the point that in reviewing these, my support of these applications is based on the concept that has been put forward, the location where they are, and the management. And so I just want to go on record that I support these applications, and if there were to be any requests for transfers of these in the future, I personally would take a really hard look at them.
Thank you. Any other discussion? I would also like to add that it's really exciting to see new bars in Springdale and Torrey, really supporting our rural and underserved communities. My understanding is that this will be the first bar in Springdale, close to Zion. So it's really exciting. So I'd be looking for a motion to, I'd be looking for a vote on the motion. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay. And we look forward to hearing from other applicants for bar applications in future meetings as they become ready to operate. And just to update the public, we had 11 bar licenses available, and with those 3, we now have 8 There are 7 applicants here, and we also have a number in the pipeline who have not yet submitted a completed application, but we expect to see this list of other applicants continue to grow. So we are looking forward to those future discussions. Moving on to full service restaurant applications. Before I go to Vice Chair Randall for a recommendation, I would like to note that we are striking the license change of ownership considerations for items 1 and 2, Courtyard Salt Lake and Hyatt House Salt Lake. So Fiddler's Elbow will be the only license change of ownership to consider. Was there any discussion to that, Vice Chair Randall?
No, so the subcommittee, the operations subcommittee met, and I know that the compliance subcommittee met as well. And there was a recommendation from the operations subcommittee to move forward with approving license change of ownership number 3, Fiddler's Elbow, Salt Lake City, ready to operate applicants 1 through 4. And then there was also a robust conversation around all other applicants. And based off of what our discussion was last month, where we saw 31 licenses come available, and this month where we have 49 regular full service restaurant licenses available, we would also recommend to approve items 1 through 4 on the all other applicants too. And that's also based off of staff recommendation and robust staff discussions around not seeing any significant construction delays and availability there.
Is there a motion?
Sorry, so the motion would be to approve license change of ownership number 3, Fiddler's Elbow, Salt Lake City, ready to operate applicants 1 through 4. And all other applicants 1 through 4.
Okay, is there a second? And then we'll have discussion.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion on this motion?
I will abstain on item number B, ready to operate applicant number 1. I'm just going to have to abstain on that vote. And also, I will voice my concerns. I have several of my
Can you please turn
colleagues,
your?
and that
Yeah, I
is
can't hear
that,
Tom.
right now we have 49, I believe, licenses. And next month we may only have, be down in the 30s again. I believe it's not appropriate for us to change our formula from month to month as to whether we will award licenses to people that are not ready to operate. I think we need to have a consistent basis. To me, it smacks very much, as I mentioned to one of my fellow commissioners, about you have wildlife that's on the endangered species list, and yet you will issue hunting licenses on the basis, well, we still got a few of those left. I think you have to be consistent, and we are in a situation where we will definitely be running short of restaurant licenses again. In order to be fair to everyone, I believe we need to stick to our ready to operate rule.
Is there additional discussion?
I would just want to add, just to explain, when we moved to the ready to operate criteria, we moved there when we were down to 30 licenses. And, it's a fluid situation. It's not something that was set in stone, but we feel like, especially leading into the holiday season, we would like to give as many licensees as possible the opportunity to capitalize on the holiday, rush. And so our thinking in going ahead and including the 1 through 4 under all other applicants, it was twofold. Number one, we feel like it is consistent with what we did previously because we moved to ready to open when we were down to 30 licenses, and we still have like 46. And secondly, because of the holiday rush, we want to give them the opportunity to get open and capitalize on the additional customers coming in over the holidays.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion before we go to a vote? Okay, all those in favor, oh, yes, please, Commissioner Handy.
Thank you very much. May I ask a question through you to Commissioner Jacobson?
Please.
All right, thank you. Madam Chair, this is to Commissioner Jacobson. On this issue, you know, I'm the newest commissioner, and so I'm kind of, and I've said this in our subcommittees, kind of struggling with where we are on this policy. And I'm looking at this memo from Director Clayson. She says an applicant is considered ready to operate if, and then she has 3 bullet points. The business is in possession of all licenses needed to operate its business unless the municipality requires a swap. Number 2, a sufficient number of staff have been hired and all statutorily required training has been completed. And number 3, the DAB's final inspection has been conducted by a compliance specialist. So Commissioner Jacobson, I'm just trying to understand if you could, based upon that criteria, elaborate perhaps for my benefit, your continued reluctance on this policy, or is this the policy, or do we not have a policy? I'm trying to understand. Thank you.
That's exactly what I'm saying is we need to stick with the policy. And part of that being ready to open means that if we issued you a license today, you would have all your staff trained, you would have your license, and you would be ready to open tomorrow. You would not be looking at coming back next month and saying, well, this happened, that happened, and we didn't open. And so we're holding a license and didn't use it. So that's what my concern is that we're not sticking with that policy. And then what we're going to do again, when we get down to 30 licenses or whatever arbitrary license number the commission as a whole comes up with, that then we're going to throw this in the face of our applicants and say, well, too bad, your timing wasn't right. We waived the policy in November of 2023, but for you have to follow the policy. And that's very much like some of the things that we hear criticisms of government throughout the country in various different aspects, is not sticking with rules and policies, giving certain people preferences and things of that nature. And the reason that I'm hard fast about this and concerned about it is I think there has to be predictability in the community. There has to be a consistency with the commission. And that's why I believe that the policy that you've just reiterated is an important one we have to stick with unless we repeal that policy as a commission.
Madam Chair, follow-up question, please. So Commissioner Jacobson, you're saying that the motion that was just, in your understanding, the motion that was just put forth is not in compliance with those bullet points that I reiterated and that you reiterated as well.
Specifically with regard to those that are not ready to open at this point in time. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Madam Chair. So I'm going to just step in here for 1 second. So during the last commission meeting, we had shared this policy that you've read with licensees in the past, dealing with our situation of scarcity, running out of full service restaurant licenses. We had several full service restaurants that did not renew their licenses, which gave us sort of an influx of licenses. So we have 49 full service restaurant licenses today. Last commission meeting, we said that we would be considering license applications that were conditional because that's within our prerogative to award conditional licenses where there were not significant construction concerns or delays. And so that is the criteria we went into this commission meeting with. And I think that there is disagreement about that policy that we put forward at the last commission meeting, and that is perfectly healthy. I agree that this uncertainty can be hard for licensees, but I think that it is our duty to be awarding conditional licenses because we have conditional licenses to award. If we're in such scarcity that we have to hold back conditional licenses to make sure that we're able to fulfill the pipeline, I think that's a different situation. And so that's at least my perspective as the way that this has played out. And so I want to err on the side of deferring to businesses to allow them to operate, to award a conditional licenses where we have the leeway to do so, and we are not always going to be in that case. To Commissioner Jacobson's point, that we will get into a point of scarcity, but where we're not in this instance, I think that it's the right thing to do, in my perspective, to award a license on a conditional basis to allow people to open. And I'd also like to note that the 4 applicants in the other category are all proposing to be open before our next commission meeting.
Point of order, there was a question as to whether number 1 and 2 would be actually opening. One would be opening tomorrow and one would be opening Sunday. Are those still good dates?
May I interject?
Go ahead, please, Jeremy.
All other applicants, number 1 is no longer conditional and will be ready to operate.
And I think Commissioner Jacobson also asked about number 2, Sol Agave.
Yeah, if I may interject there on Sol Agave.
Go ahead.
We did receive the insurance information, so it's just a business license with them. So they are on track to be open. But
I would consider those to be ready to operate. The other ones are proposing the middle of the month. And if I recall correctly, that's only a few days before our commission meeting. Our commission meeting next month is on the 21st.
So is there any more discussion to the motion on the table?
Chairman.
Go here and then here.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I will just say, I do support this motion. The criteria that were read out, I see those criteria as instructive. They're not, if we do feel like we want to stick to those hard and fast and not have flexibility around those, I understand that we insert some certainty into the process by doing that. I would propose that if we would move to putting those in rule if we want to go that path. But as of right now, because they're not in rule, I feel like they're instructive. Yeah, and so that's as the chair mentions, those licenses would be awarded as conditional. My concern is that if we award conditional licenses, the way the statute is currently written, they're gone for 18 months. And so if there's significant construction delays, we could be tying up licenses for many, many months. And so I'm leaning on the staff's recommendation on those essentially 2, the 14th and 15th that they'd open. I'm going to support this motion because I'm leaning on staff's recommendation that there are not significant construction issues associated with those. Now, the last 2 that were not in the motion, I understand that there are some construction issues. And so I'm supporting the motion, kind of talking about where my comfort is, just going on the record with that. So I will support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Orton was next.
I just wanted to make a point of clarification that was kind of covered by the subcommittee chairwoman Tinnert. I just wanted to make it clear that we never voted. It's not policy. It is right, exactly. It's just something, it's instructions that we gave to our applicants to make things clearer as to, where our comfort level was when we were at a point of scarcity. And that's all. Because it was being referred to as policy and we never voted it into rule, anything.
Yeah, thank you for that. Commissioner Jacobson.
Yes, I would move to bifurcate items 3 and 4 from the ready to operate applicants and include under all other applicants, include 1 and 2 in the ready to operate category.
So can you clarify that you're amending the motion?
Well, I am moving to bifurcate the motion into 2 parts so that we would vote on items and ready to operate 1 through 4 and under all other applicants 1 and 2 separately from items 3 and 4 on all other applicants. In other words, bifurcate the motion.
Is there a second?
Actually, I have a question if possible.
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner Terzon.
For Sol Agave, the violation history, is that anything that we have to consider?
Yes, let's see if there's a second on this motion and then we'll deal with that in discussion, if that's okay. Is
Sure.
there a second to Commissioner Jacobson's motion? Okay. Is Sol Agave here? Please come up. Thank you. Craig, while they're coming up, would you mind giving a summary of the violation?
Yes, it was a sell to a minor violation occurred of April of this year and adjudicated at the June commission meeting,
Was this the first violation?
first violation.
Okay, please introduce yourselves for the record.
Morning, Commissioners. My name is Jorge Galvez. And my name is Jesus Galvez.
Okay, can you tell us more about how your RASP is working and other measures you might have taken to avoid another violation?
Absolutely. Since this violation, we have had 2 successful visits. So we feel that the RASP is working. We have proof that the RASP is working. And since then, we have bought 2 additional ID scanners dedicated at 21 and over area for our guests. And everyone gets ID regardless of their age when they're entering that 21 and over area.
That's great. Are there any questions for Sol Agave from the commission? Great. We appreciate your work here and to avoid another violation. So we have a motion. You're excused. Thank you. This is taking a lot of mental energy for me to keep this straight. So we've got a motion and a second to consider. Commissioner Jacobson, I think you left this out, but I think you meant to put in the change of ownership for Fiddler's Elbow as well.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So we have a motion, a bifurcated motion to consider Fiddler's Elbow, change of ownership, items 1 through 4 in ready to operate, and then in all other applicants, items 1 and 2 only. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And we have a second. So we'll vote on that motion. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed? Okay. Is there another motion?
Yes, based on that motion, I would move to approve items B, license to change ownership number 3, which is Fiddler's Elbow, and B, ready to operate applicants 1, 2, 3, and 4, and item B, all other applicants 1 and 2.
Okay. We've accepted the bifurcated motion. Now we're voting on that motion. All those in favor, please say aye. Oh, is there a second? Excuse me. Commissioner Tenner, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Now, is there a motion on items 3 and 4?
I move to approve conditional licenses for Basta Pastoria and Murray, item number 3, and Chef Dance Social in Park City, item number 4, based on the comments that I previously made.
Is there a second? Thank you, Vice Chair Randall. All those in favor, excuse me.
Discussion. I would like to ask staff on each one of those how much work remains to be done on number 3 and number 4.
Craig, would you have that information for us?
Yes, on items number 3 and 4, Basta Pastoria and Chef Dance Social, they are finishing up. Their construction is very well along the way. The anticipated opening is fairly accurate of the 14th and 15th of December. The most recent photos that I have are in the drive of their construction progress. But from the premise and proximity inspection, from the photos that I've received and discussing with them, a lot of it is just finished work, final touches on that construction.
Do they have anything that is ordered and not in place?
Not that I'm aware of.
Any other discussion? Okay, we'll take a vote on items 3 and 4. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Guess what? Yes, I'm opposed.
Is that a yes? Okay, thank you. The motion passes. Okay. We have moved through our agenda and we are now in the comment section. So first I will ask the commissioners if there are any comments they would like to share. Okay, and now we'll move to the public. So I have had a number of people sign up to speak and some may not want to speak any longer. So I will call your name and if you want to speak, please come up. And if you want to take a pass and be done with the meeting before 11, I'm just saying. Richard Romney. Gold star. Okay. Jose Silva. Going once, Mr. Silva. He passes too. Okay. Kabuki, would you like to say anything else? Okay, they probably drove back to Logan. Okay. Josh Buck. Okay, please come up. And introduce yourself for the record. Thank
Josh
you.
Buck from Mims Bar and Grill.
Make sure you say that right into the microphone.
I'm Josh Buck from Mims Bar and Grill in Corinne. We were one document short for the hearing to be able to be heard today. The seller is really wanting to move out of the organization and move on. So we're hoping to somehow be on the agenda for today.
Okay, well, it is important to submit a completed agenda, so we really hope that you can
It's submitted
be
for the
here
next-
for the next meeting.
Perfect.
And thanks for introducing yourself. And go Corinne, that's awesome. Okay, Elsa? With Basta Pastaria?
My name is Elsa. I'm with Basta Pastaria. So I know you guys had questions on the conditional and some of you guys were questioning on opening. The only thing we're waiting is the hood that takes 1 day to install. And so I'm thankful and grateful that you guys approved that conditional. And I'm excited. This is my first time opening a restaurant on my own. So I just wanted to say I appreciate everything.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can't wait to visit. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Sol Agave? Thank you. Okay. David with Smiths? Okay, he probably passed too. Is it Maya from Orem? Yeah. Would you like to speak? Are you? Okay. If you want to, go ahead, but if you think we've covered your item already.
It's a violation, so their settlement's approved. So she
We approved your violation settlement. Yeah. Okay, Vicky, are there any commenters online? Anyone else like to speak? Yes, please. Please introduce yourself for the record.
My name is Mimi Kim from Chef and Social Park City Restaurant. And this is my first time coming to the hearing. And I really enjoyed hearing the process and how you discuss everything so in detail. First restaurant opening, although Chef Dance has been operating for the last 20 years, as an event production and also putting up a great event, culinary events. But this is going to be all year round restaurant in Park City, partner with James Beard Chef. I think it's going to be a great addition to the community. So I'm very grateful that at the end you did decide to approve conditional, and it will be opening in December. And as the other restaurants said, we are at the last finishing touches, and hopefully all of you will have time to come visit the restaurant. So thank you very much.
Even though I voted against it.
Doesn't matter, Commissioner Jacobson, you are welcome.
I remember that. Yeah.
Your open arms. Thank you.
Thank you for being here and happy pre-Sundance. Any other comments from the public? Okay, this meeting is adjourned.